Chef and builder Janie Pendleton. We're back in the kitchen where we are making blackberry applesauce. I've got my jars in the water bath canner and they are steaming right now. Remember, hot food or hot product, hot sauces, whatever, hot jars. We don't want to crack those jars. We're getting a little bit of browning on the edges here. I made my apples, I've ran them through the sieve. I haven't added any sugar. I don't add salt to mine. Some people add a pinch of salt in there to bring out the sweetness a little bit. I do not do that. I am, however, now that I've got the apples cooked down, all I did was I took apples, sliced them up, I cut out the bad parts, and a little bit of a lemon, just maybe a tablespoon of lemon and water, and I kept the apples overnight from turning, and I kept them in the refrigerator. The next day, I put them in the crock pot, cooked them down, no sugar. This is totally unsweetened right now, and just with the lemon juice that was in there, and I poured enough of the fluids on here of the lemon juice and water that kept these barely covered. Put on the lid, and I cooked it for about 2 hours. It would be anywhere, depends on how many pounds of apples you have. This was about 7 pounds of apples right here, and I'm getting, it looks like I'm going to get about maybe 3 quarts out of this, maybe 4 quarts. We'll see. We will see. But right now I haven't added anything to it. So what I'm going to do is I've tasted it, and then I ran this through a food mill, put it back in a clean crock pot, and I cooked it and reduced it a little bit more. I like my applesauce thick, not too juicy. I like it thick. All right. Now because I'm going to water bath can this, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of lemon juice, and be sure and give your lemon juice a shake up before you do that. All right, and this is just to ensure when you water bath can it, it's storage on the shelf. There's 1, there's 2. Now that added some acidity to the applesauce, and again, that was just a little bit of lemon juice. This was on high, now I have it on low. Looks really good. Perfect consistency. I'm really happy with that. It leaves a trace. See how it leaves a trace when I go like that? Or when you go like that, you can still see where I poured it. That tells you that it's ready. That's called tracing. It's the same thing like when you're making soap. I'm going to taste test this. See what I need to add. Never double dip. Get a clean spoon. Okay. Adding that lemon juice actually got rid of some of the sweetness of the apples. So I'm going to add in about 1/4 to 1/2 cup of sugar. That was about a scant 1/2 cup right there. Scant 1/2 cup. We're going to stir that in. Let that rest, because this, remember, spices, sugar, salt, peppers, things get stronger as they heat up. And as the sugars kind of blend and meld with the applesauce, it'll start to really show its sweetness. So blend it in well before taste testing, because you can definitely over salt or put too much sugar in something. Now I'm going to come here to the bottom and kind of mix it around here a bit and get me a little taste more. It's very hot. Be careful. Let's see here. I like that, but I think it still needs a little bit more sugar. There's a lot of applesauce in here. Remember to adjust it to your taste and your needs. You can definitely keep this unsweetened. That's fine. I mean, the apples themselves have enough pectin, and with that little 2 tablespoons of lemon juice in here, you're good to go. That's perfect. That got rid of that tartness from the lemon. Now, some apples will be sweeter than other apples. These apples were a very tart apple. Now here I have the seedless blackberry juice that I strained through the strainer when I was making jam yesterday. And I'm just going to blend in the thick stuff with the liquid. Now this is why I got this so thick, is because I knew I was going to be adding my blackberry juice to this. Okay, there we go. This is 2/3 of a cup of blackberry juice. Now, you can make some of it straight up and go ahead and jar up some of it just like it is. Or you can go ahead and add the blackberry juice to all of it. And I'm just going to add in, just not all of that 2/3 of a cup yet. I'm going to blend it in, see how I like it, see what I think. Blueberry or blackberries, or even blueberries, strawberries. There's a lot you can do with this. And by the way, I blended this after I put it through the food mill. I blended it again with a stick blender. So to get it nice. Some people like their applesauce chunky. Because this is for my grandkids, I do not like it so chunky for the grandkids. I like to make sure the toddlers have a nice smooth applesauce. Now, that's a perfect color, perfect consistency. I really like that. I don't want to thin it down too much, but I want to go a little bit richer on the actual. I want to really taste the blackberries in this applesauce. I want to taste applesauce, and I want to taste blackberries too. There you go. Some nice coloring to that. That'll keep it a nice color on the shelf too, if I go a little darker. Fruits have a tendency to only last, especially applesauces and things, peaches, things like that. They have a tendency to last about a year to maybe a year and a couple of months on the shelf. They're not a super long term, because the sunlight and things like that, it does damages to juices and to applesauces and the things of fruit consistency and vegetable consistency. So Ball recommends with its lids only a year. So sometimes if you have lid failure, it's because the Ball lids themselves are only designed for up to a year, they say. Now, I've not had that problem, but that's what they guarantee. Now we're going to take and get a clean spoon, and we're going to try it now and see if we need to add any sugar or anything to it at this point. That's why I went ahead and added the sugar and tasted the applesauce first. I just wanted to get rid of that bite, because I used a more of a sour apple, a nice cooking sour apple, which was Granny Smith's and Jonathons. I did not use a very sweet apple. So if you use a sweeter apple for this, a nice sweet baking apple, like Gala and a few others like that, then, and Red Delicious, well, Red Delicious is a crispy eating apple. It's not really a baking apple. You can ask your produce, when you're in the produce department at the store, you can ask them, or at the orchard, and they'll tell you which apples are best for baking and applesauce making, and which ones are best just really crispy for eating, that don't really soften up like this. All right, it's got some beautiful coloring to that. I love it. Still thick enough, but I think that I can add more of the blackberries to it. But again, I don't want this too loose. If you get it too loose, just continue to cook it down for another half hour or so. And I really want the flavor of that blackberry in here. I want the nutrients of the blackberries. I want all the good stuff in here. This is a lot of this will be for toddler food. You can get it really, really thin. Leave out the sugar altogether, and it's great, great baby food. Okay, great baby food. I don't want to drip. Okay, so now I'm going to give this another taste test. We're going to try this again and see where we're at. Okay, I wish I had Vitavision, Smell-O-Vision, all the above right now, because this tastes awesome. This is why I make it this way. This is really good with dark cherry juice, grape juice. There's a lot of ways to give a little kick and some color to your applesauce that's really healthy and good for you. I'm glad that I added just that, about scant half cup of sugar in here. I'm glad I added that. Again, just because the apples themselves were so tart, and I personally like a little bit sweeter applesauce, so I figured the grandkids probably would like it not to be quite so tart, especially since I had to add back in the lemon juice. And again, that was only 2 tablespoons of the lemon juice. So anyway, I hope that you give this recipe a try. There's a lot of recipes out there for making applesauce. It is one of the best beginner water bath canning recipes that, that you can do. I'm going to water bath can this with 1 inch of water to 2 inches of water over the top of the lids of the jars, because this is water bath canning. I'm going to put these in sterilized jars that have been boiling in here in my water bath canner. And I'm going to water bath can this for 20 minutes, okay? 20 minutes for pints and 30 minutes for quarts. That's 20 minutes for pints and 30 minutes for quarts. You'll see online there'll be some varying times. I do go by ball times on this. So, plus it's got the blackberries in it, and blackberries are acidic and they don't require lemon juice, but the apples did. So the blackberry juice actually also helps keep this preserved in the water bath canning method as well. So it's a great color, blended in nicely. I'm happy with it. I'm going to go ahead and let this simmer down and maybe just re-thicken up just a little bit more, so it's not, I don't like it being all over the plate. If somebody adds it to their supper plate, I don't like it to be quite this thin. Another 15 to 20 minutes or until my jars are done being sterilized in the water bath canner. And we will be right back. If you have any questions or comments, be sure and leave them below. Okay, I'm doing pints here. I've got my lids in very hot water. Got my rings, they're all clean. They've been done in the hot water as well. And I have some napkins ready to rock and roll here. Just gonna start filling these up quickly. Isn't that just a beautiful color? I love canning season. Now, half pints or pints, process them the same amount of time. 1/2 inch headspace. And I do 2 or 3 jars and fill them quickly at a time. Do the rims, little vinegar and water. I've got a little bit of vinegar in my water, and I just used my sterilization water here. I just used that for my lids. I just dip down in there and get me a little bit of water out of the canner. And I just put a splash of vinegar in there because it really, careful, everything's hot. Keep pets and children out of the kitchen if you can, best you can, because you don't want them underfoot, because this stuff is very hot. It does splatter. You can see how it splatters. And this smells so heavenly. I can't even begin to tell you. Now what you could do with this is you could make this into a blackberry apple butter by just letting this cook down for another 6 or 7 hours until it really thickened down. And then you'd have an awesome blackberry apple butter. I've done that with this recipe. Turned out awesome. All right, just going to continue to fill these up here quickly. And we'll be right back again. Be sure to leave a comment below while you're watching this and let us know what you'd like to see me can up. And it's a great way to show how you can incorporate berries into your applesauce recipes. Kids love applesauce. Adults love applesauce. I'm a big fan of it for sure. You could do some half pints for little gift-giving sizes if you wanted to. Whenever anybody gives me fruit off their trees or anything, I mean, I get it in a canning jar. Sometimes you can find produce stands where they have like second best, where they didn't look good enough for the grocery store, and you can get some really good deals. You can get some really good deals on grapes and apples and things like that the farmers weren't able to sell off to the actual stores. Now I don't think I got enough in here to cook with this quickly. pair of tongs helps with that, but all right, so let's do this. Let's get the last bit of this in that 1/2 pint jar. It's just an old quilted jelly jar that I had. Look at that, it's going to fit it perfectly. Remember, the canning times for the 1/2 pints and the pints are the same. We're going to take a little bit of that water, dip our napkin in, and we're just going to get this done. Now, you can debubble this if you want to, but you can see that's not really necessary. It's good to just to get in the habit and do it. Especially if it's a really thick applesauce and you notice like openings there, add a little juice. You do not want to can anything that is too thick. And especially when it gets done going through the canner, it can even thicken up even more. So get those air bubbles. See our height here? Yep, we're at the 1/2 inch. Take a clean napkin, dip it in the water, and let's get any residue off of here. And again, my water has a little bit of vinegar in it. You can also use straight up vinegar, that's fine. But sometimes the vinegar will drip down into the food, and I'm not always keen on that flavor when I open the jar or that smell. So I like to dilute it a little bit with water. So my canner has already a couple of splashes of vinegar in it, and that's perfect for getting that little extra added insurance, especially when you're water bath canning. Just gonna start placing on the lids, and yes, I do, by OCD, I have to line up. Do you do that too? Do you have to line up your jars with the lids? Where's the front? Right here's the front. And then this one right here. Screw bands on. Finger tight. That's it. That's finger tight. I have to tell you, for water bath canning, I always put them on a little bit tighter than I do for pressure canning. It's what my grandmother told me to do, so I do. I just give it that little extra quarter turn. I've never had a jar fail on me, so it must work. But you don't want to put it on too tight because that air has to escape that's in here as it's building pressure inside the jar. Okay, the oxygen leaves that jar. So just a little turn, just like that. So when finger tight means when this starts to give right here, give it another 1/8 to 1/4 inch a turn. That's it. Things are happening. Sometimes you can skip a part. So be sure and can during a relaxing time of the day for you. Even if it's in the middle of the night, do it in a relaxing time of day for you. Okay? Now you want to carry these by the shoulder here, by the glass shoulder, not by the lid or by the ring, but by the glass shoulder. Do not tip. Isn't that beautiful? Then we're going to take these over and we're going to put these in the canner. As we start filling up the canner, you're going to notice that the water is going to come up above the lids. That's perfect. We want 1 inch to 2 inches. So, so my canner won't do quarts in water bath canning. It will only do pints and 1/2 pints. When I get anything taller, then it just seems to bubble out the top of my canner. So I have a taller pot for doing quarts. But right now I can use my water bath canner. And be sure and leave, even if you have to put canning rings down here upside down, be sure and put a rack in, because you want to see those bubbles coming up through there. Those bubbles have to get up and around that jar. I'm going to finish filling up the canner and I will be right back. This recipe made 5.5 pints of blackberry applesauce. That's 5.5 pints. And your babies and your husband and your children, your teens, they will thank you for putting in the extra time, and they will love my recipe for applesauce. And again, you don't have to add the blackberry to it, but I'm just going to do it again. That keeps the jars nice and clear. We have hard water here. Make sure your canner is not more than 1 inch over the size of your heating ring. And make sure not to put a big size American or a big size canner on a glass top. Alright, this is just a Presto and this is as large as my glass top will take. Be sure and call your stove manufacturer to find out what kind of canner your stove will take, if it will take one at all. I'm going to crank the heat up now. You can blow through the hole. It's clear. Line up the V's. Give it a turn. Our ring turns nicely, so I didn't need to oil it. I oiled that last video. So it doesn't need to be oiled. And you're going to see some bubbles coming out of here. The lock is down. This lock, see, make sure you can see, this lock may go up. Okay, it may go up. That's perfectly fine. Right now we're on a medium-high heat. We're going to get this to a nice rolling boil, and then we're going to start our time. We're going to start our time for 20 minutes. Now, no pressure gauge, because this is not pressure canning. This will not go on at all. This is just water bath canning. And you can do this, by the way, in a stock pot. You do not have to do water bath canning in special equipment, but you must pressure can in a pressure canner. All right? I hope these videos are helping you. Be sure and subscribe if you're not, because we love having you. All right? We love having you. You're all my angels. While that's coming up, I'm going to show you these cute little Blackberry Applesauce labels that I made. Aren't those cute? Those are so darling. Okay, and I just made them with the sticky tabs that you can get, that you can just peel and stick. And I've got plenty of them made, but I thought those were cute. So we're going to let it cool for 5 minutes naturally, and then we're going to remove them into a non-draft area on a, either whether it can be cardboard, a dish pad like this is made for canning, or a tea towel, okay? Something along that line to keep the jars, the hot jars, from hitting the cold countertop. Okay, we're back. These have settled for about 12 hours, and you can go ahead and take the bands off. You can stuff these with a little bit of cotton if you'd like to make like a little tuft on top, but I just put like a little 3.5, 4-inch square here right on top. Screw the screw band back on. Label it, put a ribbon behind the label, come over here with some double-sided tape, put a little bit of ribbon on there, and isn't that just beautiful? And now I have a gift of my Blackberry Applesauce, and this is a gift for a child, so it's got little Holly Hobby on it. This is for my grandson Carter, and this will be perfect for their little farmhouse shelf for him, and he will just love this Blackberry Applesauce. And then here's a larger jar here with a little calico square on it and a little pink ribbon for my mother. So this first batch is definitely for upcoming gifts. And this can be stuff, I mean, this stays good on the shelf for a year. So, I mean, if you know you got an upcoming birthday next month, there you go. You've already got your gifts made. This is just my way to share my orchard and my garden with others. I'll do this one in blue. Let's see here, I got some pretty blue ribbon here. Should I do blue ribbon? I think I already got the pink ribbon on there. See, you could do a blue ribbon. Wouldn't that be pretty? Where's my little screw band? Here it is. So what you want to do is you put on your label, put on your ribbon here behind the label, just a little tail, that'll hold it on. Put your square on, hold it down like this. Hold it down gently. Screw this on gently. You don't want to knock off any of the seals or the lids that you just did. Don't tighten it too tight. Give it a little bit of a pull out of the front there. Little piece of tape. I think I have tape on here. Maybe not. Just a small piece of tape. It doesn't take much. Okay, pull that right over the top, and you can do like a little drop of hot melt glue, or you can just do the double-sided or single-sided tape. That's fine. I used what I had. All right, and isn't that just beautiful? So don't forget to decorate up your jars, and don't forget to give some as gifts to your family and friends and your neighbors. We have a lot of new neighbors, and they would love something like this. My husband loved the recipe that I made up a few years ago for Blackberry Applesauce. He loved it. I hadn't made it in a couple of years because I haven't needed to make applesauce in a while. Because I'm usually, when I make things like pear butter or apple butter, things like that, I usually make it in a very large volume. This is just batch number 1. I still have 4 more batches to go, and this will be enough to last us 2 years. And that's why I'm going to go ahead, because I know how long it lasted me a couple years ago. So I'm going to make it more often, I decided, and to give more away as gifts. Because this is something that people really, really like. They love this, and they loved my blackberry jam. So I can decorate up a few of these little jars. I can decorate a few of these up as well. So be sure and hit the thumbs up button. Show your support for our channel, okay? So be sure and hit that subscribe button. Let us know what you think. We love you. Share this video. That does help us financially stay on the air and pay for all the jars and all the food supplies and everything. And let us know what you think in a comment below. If there's something about this video that you really liked, or it brought back a memory, or you have a special recipe you want to share with us, then leave that comment below. We love you. Go with God. Blessings.